If you've noticed more people talking about smart glasses lately, not in futuristic demos but in everyday conversations, there's a reason for that, and it shows up almost immediately when you put a pair on. Not because they do something shocking. Not because they replace your phone, and definitely not because they feel like science fiction. It's because, for the first time, smart glasses behave like something people actually want to wear. And that shift, subtle as it sounds, is why this category is getting real attention right now. When people say smart glasses, they usually picture something bulky, experimental, or socially awkward. That image comes from earlier attempts that tried to do too much too fast. Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses take a very different approach, and you can see it before you even put them on. They look like normal Ray-Bans. The frames follow familiar Ray-Ban styles. The proportions look like standard eyewear, and at a glance there's nothing that signals advanced tech. That matters more than most spec sheets ever could, because wearability starts with whether you're comfortable being seen in something. Once you put them on, the second thing you notice is comfort. These are glasses meant to be worn for hours, not minutes. The weight is distributed across the frame, and while they're slightly heavier than non-smart glasses, they don't feel front-heavy or unstable. The arms are thicker than traditional Ray-Bans because they house electronics, but they don't press uncomfortably against the head during normal use. For people who already wear glasses or sunglasses daily, the transition feels natural. For people who don't, the learning curve is short. That comfort is a big part of why people keep wearing them instead of treating them like a gadget you pull out occasionally. Design and comfort lead directly into daily usability, which is where smart glasses either succeed or fail. Ray-Ban Meta. Smart glasses don't ask you to change your routine. You put them on like any other pair of glasses and go about your day. There's no display to manage, no interface floating in your field of view, and no need to constantly interact with them. Most of the time, they're just glasses. And that's not a limitation. It's the foundation of why they work. The camera is one of the most talked about features, but it's important to understand what it actually does and how it's used. The built-in camera captures photos and short videos from your point of view. You activate it with a physical button on the frame, or with supported voice commands where available. When recording or taking a photo, a small LED light on the front of the glasses turns on. That light is always visible during capture. It doesn't turn off and it doesn't hide. In real life, that transparency makes a difference. People around you can see when the camera is active, and that keeps usage socially readable. In practice, the camera isn't about perfect framing or cinematic quality. It's about speed and perspective. You see something, you capture it, and you keep moving. You don't pull out your phone, unlock it, open the camera app, and line up a shot. You press a button and the moment is saved. That changes how often people actually capture things. Not because the camera is better, but because the barrier is lower. Photos and videos sync automatically to the MetaView app on your phone, where you can review, edit, and share them like any other media. There's no manual transfer process and no extra steps. Audio is where these glasses quietly change expectations. Instead of earbuds or headphones, Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses use open-ear speakers built into the arms of the frame. The sound is directed toward your ears without blocking them. This means you can listen to music, podcasts, or phone calls while still hearing the world around you. In daily use, this feels very different from traditional audio devices. You're not isolated. You're still aware of traffic, conversations, and ambient sounds. The audio quality fits that purpose. It's clear and balanced for spoken content and casual music listening. It's not designed to replace noise-canceling headphones, and it doesn't try to. In quieter environments, audio comes through cleanly. In louder environments, you still hear your surroundings first, which is intentional. Phone calls sound natural, and the microphones pick up your voice clearly in everyday conditions. For walking, working, or moving through public spaces, this open-ear approach feels practical rather than immersive. Phone connectivity stays simple. The glasses connect to your smartphone via Bluetooth and are managed through the MetaView app. Once paired, they reconnect automatically. You don't spend time managing the connection day to day. The glasses act as an extension of your phone. For specific tasks, capturing photos and videos, handling calls, and playing audio. They don't replace your phone, and they don't try to. That clarity of role makes them easier to understand and easier to use. Battery behavior follows the Same philosophy. Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses are designed for daily use spread across a day, not continuous recording or non-stop audio. When you're done wearing them, you put them back into their charging case. The case protects the glasses and recharges them. At the same time, this mirrors how people already treat wireless earbuds, and it fits naturally into existing habits. You're not plugging them in throughout the day or worrying about cables. Controls are intentionally limited and physical. There's a capture button for the camera and a touch-sensitive area on the frame for audio controls like play, pause, and volume adjustment. This keeps interactions quick and reduces accidental inputs. You're not navigating menus on your face. More complex settings live in the phone app, where they belong. That separation keeps the glasses focused on immediate actions rather than configuration. Voice control exists on Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses in officially supported regions and only for confirmed actions. When available, it allows hands-free tasks, like taking a photo or starting a recording. It doesn't turn the glasses into a general-purpose assistant that replaces other devices. And importantly, the glasses remain fully functional even if voice features aren't available or aren't used. The core experience doesn't depend on advanced AI behavior. This is where the larger conversation around smart glasses starts to shift. Earlier products tried to add new layers of interaction, especially visual ones. Displays, overlays, and constant information competed with the real world for attention. Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses remove that competition entirely by not having a display at all. Nothing appears in your vision. Everything happens through simple physical interaction or audio. That choice eliminates many of the distractions and social concerns that held previous smart glasses back. Over time, you notice small changes in behavior. You reach for your phone slightly less for quick actions. You take calls more naturally while moving. You capture moments without stopping what you're doing. None of this feels dramatic, but it feels consistent. The glasses don't demand attention, they reduce friction. And that's a big reason people are actually using them day after day. As these patterns settle in, it becomes clear why smart glasses are being discussed differently now. Not as a futuristic concept, but as something practical. And once you understand that foundation, the conversation naturally moves toward how this approach affects privacy, social comfort, and long-term use, which is where the real story continues. As that day-to-day pattern becomes familiar, the discussion around smart glasses starts to move away from novelty and toward trust. And trust is something this category has struggled with for a long time. Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses address that, not through complex explanations, but through visible, physical choices. The most obvious one is the camera indicator light. Every time the camera records a photo or video, the LED on the front of the frame turns on. It's bright enough to be noticed, and it's not something you can disable. In real-world use, this creates a clear social signal. People around you can see when recording happens, and that changes how both sides of the interaction feel. That visibility affects behavior in a practical way. Users tend to record intentionally rather than casually. You're aware that others can see the indicator, so recording becomes a conscious action, similar to pulling out a phone. That alone keeps the experience aligned with existing social norms. You're not wearing something that feels ambiguous or hidden. You're wearing glasses that behave in predictable, understandable ways, because the glasses look like standard Ray-Bans when they're not actively recording. They don't attract attention. You're not fielding questions about what's on your face. You don't feel like you're testing something experimental in public. That normalcy plays a huge role in why people keep wearing them beyond the first few days. Social comfort is just as important as technical capability when it comes to wearables, and here it's built directly into the design. Over longer periods of use, durability and build quality also become part of the conversation. Ray-Ban Meta. Smart glasses feel like real eyewear, not fragile electronics. The frames feel solid, the hinges behave like traditional glasses, and the charging case protects them when they're not in use. You don't feel the need to baby them. You treat them like glasses because that's how they're meant to be treated. As people settle into using them, patterns start to repeat across different lifestyles. Someone commuting listens to a podcast while still hearing announcements in traffic. Someone walking their dog takes a call without stopping or pulling out a phone. Someone traveling captures short clips from their point of view without breaking. The flow of the moment. These aren't new activities. What's new is how little friction there is between intent and action. This is also where comparisons with other wearables start to make sense, but only in grounded ways. Smartphones are powerful, but they demand visual attention. Earbuds deliver audio, but they isolate you from your surroundings. Smartwatches provide quick access to information, but they add another screen to check. Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses don't add a screen at all. They remove steps instead of adding them. That difference explains why they feel less demanding, even if they do fewer things. The lack of a display is often misunderstood as a limitation. In practice, it's a deliberate trade-off. Without a display, there's no temptation to constantly look at something in your field of view. There's no interruption to vision. There's no learning curve for interpreting overlays or notifications. Everything the glasses do fits into actions you already understand: listening, speaking, capturing, and wearing. That simplicity lowers mental load, which matters more the longer you use them. Audio continues to be one of the most used features over time. Because it's open ear, people feel comfortable using it in more situations. You can listen while walking through a busy area and still hear what's going on. You can have music playing quietly while working and still hear someone speak to you. That balance encourages longer, more frequent use compared to traditional headphones that demand isolation. Call handling reinforces this. Answering a call through the glasses doesn't feel like switching modes. You don't stop what you're doing, you just talk. The microphones are positioned to pick up your voice clearly in everyday environments. And for normal conversations, the experience feels reliable. Again, not perfect in every condition, but consistent enough that people trust it. The MetaView app stays mostly in the background during all of this. You open it when you want to review photos or videos, manage settings, or check the device status. You don't need to constantly monitor it. This separation keeps the glasses from feeling like another app demanding attention. They're a physical object first, with software supporting them quietly. Voice commands, where officially available, fit into this same low-friction model. They're used for simple, clearly defined actions. You don't rely on them for complex tasks, and you don't need them for the glasses to function. They're an optional convenience, not the foundation of the experience. That matters because it keeps expectations realistic. Over time, people start to describe the glasses in ways that sound almost boring, and that's actually a good sign. They say things like, "I just wear them," or "I forget they're smart." Glasses. In tech, that kind of feedback usually means a product has settled into daily life instead of constantly reminding you that it's new. It's no longer about learning how to use it. It's about whether it fits. This is also where skepticism softens. People who were hesitant about smart glasses often change their minds not after seeing a demo, but after seeing someone wear them naturally for weeks. The absence of dramatic behavior makes the technology easier to accept. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't interrupt conversations. It doesn't dominate attention, and as this acceptance grows, the conversation around smart glasses shifts. Again, it stops being about whether the idea works and starts being about what this restrained approach means for everyday technology. Not in a future sense, but right now. How devices can support daily life without demanding constant engagement. How wearables can exist without becoming the center of attention. That leads directly into the final piece of why people are talking about smart glasses today, which isn't about features at all, but about what it feels like to live with them over time. And why that feeling is changing how people think about wearable tech as a whole. That long-term feeling is where everything finally clicks, because it's only after weeks of use that you understand why the conversation around smart glasses feels different now than it did a few years ago. Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses don't create a moment where you suddenly realize they've changed your life. Instead, they quietly become part of it. And that slow integration is exactly what people respond to. Even if they don't always know how to describe it, living with these glasses over time highlights something important about wearable technology. Usefulness isn't always loud. The glasses don't constantly remind you of what they can do. They don't flash, vibrate, or ask for attention. They wait. And when you need them, they respond in simple, predictable ways. That predictability builds comfort. Comfort builds trust. And trust is what turns a device from something you try into something you keep. One of the clearest examples of this is how naturally people adapt to using the camera. At first, it feels novel to capture a photo or video without holding a phone. But after a while, it stops feeling like a feature and starts feeling like an option that's just there. You don't use it for everything. You don't document your entire day. You use it when it makes sense. A quick moment while walking. A short clip while traveling. A photo when your hands are busy. The glasses don't encourage overuse. They simply make capture easier when you want it. That restraint shows up again in how the glasses handle audio. Because sound is open ear, it doesn't take over your attention. You don't feel cut off from the environment. You're not switching between connected and disconnected modes. Audio becomes something that blends into the background of daily life. Music, podcasts, and calls coexist with the world instead of replacing it. Over time, that changes. How often people choose to listen, because it no longer feels like a commitment. This balance also affects how long people keep the glasses on each day. There's no pressure to take breaks because nothing about them feels overwhelming. There's no screen fatigue, no constant alerts, no visual clutter. You're not managing information on your face. You're just wearing glasses that happen to be connected. That simplicity supports longer wear times without mental fatigue. Privacy perception evolves in a similar way. Early concerns tend to fade. Not because people forget about them, but because the design consistently reinforces clear boundaries. The visible recording indicator, the lack of hidden capture modes, and the absence of a display all work together to keep interactions understandable. Over time, both wearers and people around them adjust. The glasses become familiar, not mysterious. And familiarity reduces tension. Another thing that becomes clear with long-term use is how little maintenance the glasses require. You're not constantly updating settings or managing notifications. The Meta View app stays mostly out of sight until you need it. Software updates happen through the app, but they don't interrupt daily use. Captured media flows to your phone without extra steps. The glasses don't add complexity to your digital life. They quietly attach themselves to parts of it that already exist. This low-maintenance nature is a big reason people don't burn out on them. Many wearable devices feel exciting at first, but exhausting over time. They demand engagement to justify their presence. Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses don't demand justification. They don't try to prove their value every day. They just show up when useful and disappear when not. It's also worth noticing how rarely people talk about specifications when they talk about these glasses. Conversations don't revolve around numbers or benchmarks. They revolve around moments. Someone mentions taking a call while carrying groceries. Someone mentions capturing a quick clip without stopping. Someone mentions listening to audio while still hearing their surroundings. These stories aren't flashy, but they're real. And they're consistent across different users. That consistency is what makes this product stand out in the current smart glasses discussion. It's not about pushing boundaries. It's about respecting them. The glasses acknowledge what they are and what they're not. They don't try to be a phone, a computer, or a headset. They stay firmly in their lane as eyewear with a few well-integrated smart functions. This approach also changes how people talk about the category as a whole. Instead of asking whether smart glasses will replace phones or screens, the conversation shifts to whether they can simply coexist. Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses show that coexistence is possible when expectations are realistic. They don't compete with existing devices. They complement them. For people who have watched wearable tech struggle to find its place, this feels like a turning point. Not because everything is solved, but because something finally fits. The glasses fit faces. They fit routines. They fit social environments. And fitting in turns out to be more important than standing out. As time goes on, users often stop thinking about the glasses as a piece of meta technology or a Ray-Ban collaboration. They think of them as the glasses I wear. That shift in language is subtle, but it's meaningful. It signals ownership rather than experimentation. It means the product has crossed the line from novelty to normality. That's ultimately why everyone is talking about smart glasses right now. Not because they suddenly became futuristic, but because they became practical. Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses don't ask people to imagine a future. They fit into the present. They work within existing habits instead of trying to replace them. And in a tech landscape filled with bold promises and constant disruption, that grounded approach feels refreshingly human. So when you see smart glasses appearing more often in everyday life, it's not because something dramatic changed overnight. It's because a product finally learned how to stay out of the way. And sometimes that's exactly what technology needs to do to earn a place in the world.